When you're trying to sell a high ticket through a funnel, you need to make the experience feel as premium as possible for your prospect, right? So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up an extremely premium feeling application style funnel, which is perfect for coaches, consultants, membership site owners who want to give it a wonderful look and feel. Hey guys, I'm John from IncomeMesh.com. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and the like button if you're going to enjoy this video, which I know you will, because we're going to walk through step by step how to set up this funnel exactly. But first, I want to give you a little story. Now, I've worked with many clients, and a lot of them are high ticket sellers. It's a fantastic business model. You can offer real value to real people, and because of the price point of the product they're selling, they have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to margin of error with their Facebook ads. They're not like battling over little pennies here and there. So it's a fantastic business model. But here's the problem. I have built out so many funnels using different software. I've used Thrive Themes, I've used Elementor, I've used Cartflows, I've used Calendly, all these different tools. And inevitably, something happens in the build process that I have to facepalm, and I want to show people the right way to build this funnel out. So what is the problem? What is the thing that kind of irks me when I'm building out these funnels for clients? Well, it's the fact that the end result inevitably looks like a bunch of cobbled together pieces that are not entirely coherent to the user and not coherent for the client. So let me explain. So generally, you're going to need a few components to build out a funnel that's going to look kind of like this, which we'll discuss in a second. But generally, high ticket closing, high ticket offers, they have a few things. They have landing pages to build out lead magnets and thank you pages. They have calendar systems to book time and make sure that you're not overbooking yourself. They also have application forms that are built in so that you can kind of make sure you qualify and have some precursor information about your prospect before you hop on the call with them. Okay. And then you also have some video hosting to allow you to kind of educate them along the process and motivate them to complete your sales funnel process. Okay. So that's about 4 or 5 or 6 at this point different components I've listed off. And what ends up happening is on the prospect side, they'll see a bunch of little iframes load, or they'll see a calendar booking system where the buttons look entirely different from the buttons they saw on the previous page. Or they opted in with their name and their email on step 1, but then they have to go and type their name and their email again on step 2. All these little things, they seem minute, but remember, we're selling high ticket services in this example, and you want to make sure that everything feels pristine and there's no glitches in the matrix, as I like to say. Like everything feels like it should feel for the prospect. Okay, that's on that side. Another problem, potentially even a bigger problem, is unless you're selling technology help, the people selling these high ticket offers may not be the most tech savvy, and you want to give them a solution that works for where they're at in their life and in their business. You want to give them simplicity. You want to give them ease of use. You don't want to give them a system that requires all 47 plugins to be updated properly and working properly to even function. You want to make sure that things are supported, they're backed up, and they have a single source of truth for seeing the performance of their funnel as well as their pipeline coming down the road. Now, in the particular example, the particular client that I am working with, and I'm making this example for, hey buddy, the solution that he originally asked for me to build for him was set up where there is a WordPress sales funnel, there is a Calendly integration process, there was a different email marketing platform, and there was a different forms platform to hook all this stuff up. We haven't even gotten into video hosting yet with this guy. So I urged him, hey, the solution I'm going to show you here on this channel is likely going to be a better solution for you, not necessarily for everybody, but for knowing what this person wants and what is going to be best for his conversions. He wants to be able to have a single source of truth to see how his clients are performing. So that is kind of the lead into this tutorial. It's based on an actual case study. And ultimately, if you're interested for this funnel, I'll leave some links down below where you'll be able to get access to this funnel that we're going to build together. Because while I can build out the skeleton on this video tutorial with you guys, I'll also add in some actual copy, some actual reminders, everything we need for it to be fully functional. And I'll be using Kartra in this tutorial, and I'll explain all the reasons why as we go through it. But what's great about that is not only like with ClickFunnels, you can share a funnel, but it just shares the pages. That's like the tip of the iceberg. The pages are the stuff you see, but with a real functioning high performance sales funnel, there is so much beneath the water, so much beneath the surface. The tags, the automations, the reminders, the notifications, the actual calendar setup, all that will also be included in this funnel that I'll be producing today with you guys. All right. So with that said, I'm going to dive into my account and we'll walk through this step by step. But before we dive into the account and start building it, let me explain kind of the flow, the process of what this funnel is, why it's set up this way, and why I think Kartra is a solution for it. So it's best to explain funnels from start to finish, although it's best to build them from backwards forwards. We'll go through that in a minute. So the general theory behind this one, the general offer here, is they're going to want to offer their most premium product up front, and then they have additional downsells on the back end if they don't take you up on the premium level. So to hook people in, to get them interested, they bring up some scarcity about some limited amounts of availability. Oh, and by the way, I didn't build this funnel myself. This is kind of a request to ethically funnel hack somebody else who this guy went through some training with, and he likes them. So that's fantastic. I love funnel hacking because it teaches me more as well. So the general idea behind this funnel is to offer an invitation to work with them, right? So they know up front it's going to be some hands-on help. But in order to get there, they send them a case study in exchange for their name and their email address. They click the button, they get a pop-up, boom. Once they submit here, it takes them to kind of step 2 in the process where they can fill out a form to qualify themselves. And there's some really advanced things I could do. I'll keep out some of the advanced stuff, but I want you to leave a comment down below. I know exactly how to set up conditional redirecting, if that sounds techie. Basically what it is I can automatically screen your form for you and let you know, hey, this person is qualified based on their answers, send them to the qualified page. Or this person here is disqualified for whatever reason in the form, send them over to this page. If that sounds interesting to you, if you want to be able to have kind of a virtual assistant baked into your funnel, go ahead and leave a yes down below, or let me know what your particular use case is down below in the comments, and I can help build that out for you as well. All right, and then so in between these steps, there will be some automations that kick off. So as soon as they download, or as soon as they subscribe to this case study, we're going to give them some tags to identify them as being at that part of the process. And there will be some reminder emails where we also send them that lead magnet. And we'll build all this together. So step 2, they have their form and a video to explain what's going on in that step of the process. And the form is going to have several questions on there because this is high ticket. We want to make sure that the person feels like we're getting to know them, we're understanding what their needs are, and the assessment helps us do that really well. Once they submit the assessment, it's going to also do some automations to let us know that they've applied, they've submitted the application, and we'll do some additional reminder emails to make sure they do the final step, which is scheduling their own call. So once they are approved, or once they've filled out the application process, we're going to send them directly to a calendar, which they'll be able to book their own time. It's going to be synced up with your availability. So nice, so wonderful. And once they've booked that, we'll also identify them as having been scheduled, like they've scheduled their time, and we'll send them reminder notifications and additional education leading up to the event, up to their meeting. And once they book it, they're going to just go to a simple thank you page where you can embed an additional training or something that will really help entice them and make them want to follow through and show up to the appointment, right? So that's the funnel. It's not too complicated, but if you look at it, we're combining email marketing, or we're combining video marketing, email marketing, automations, calendars, and some simple opt-in forms, and and an assessment form. So there's a lot to this. You'd be using something like a Wufoo Forms, you'd be using Actionetics, or you'd be using ActiveCampaign. There's a lot of tools that it would take to put this thing off without a hitch. But the goal here is to make it look good and easy and seamless. And we're going to do that right now. So I'm here in my Kartra account. This is one of my Kartra accounts, and we're going to go ahead and build this out. Now, when I'm building funnels, it's always good to have this map laid out for you because it's kind of counterintuitive, but the most efficient way to build is actually backwards forwards. You want to start from the end and work your way up to the beginning. And there's a lot of theory behind that, but ultimately it just makes the build process easier. Okay. So I'm going to start out and I'm just going to work my way backwards. So I'm going to work with this page and then I'll work every piece on this way backwards forwards. Okay. So let's start out by creating a new page under my pages area. And I'm going to click on this green plus button. And let's think. I want to go ahead and build a couple pages from scratch so you can see how easy the builder is, and then we'll rock on from there. So we'll call this thank you and training. That'll be the name of the page. We're going to create a new category and a new site for this funnel. We're going to call this high ticket application. I'll add that in, and now I can keep all my stuff categorized and organized nicely by looking for high ticket application. And we'll also create a new site. Now what sites do, this is a newer feature in Kartra. It allows you to keep all of your tracking codes and a lot of the stuff that normally you have to build every single page. It allows you to keep this all in sync across your site. So I'll call this high ticket coaching. We'll add this. Great. All right, so let's make sure we select that site, high ticket coaching, high ticket application, and we'll create the page. All right, and I'll be bouncing back and forth a little bit to kind of just make sure that I'm building what I want to build here. So let's take a closer look at this image and let's go for it. So with Kartra, it's pretty easy. All you want to do is start adding in some sections. So I'll drag a section in, and then let me give it some width. So I'll give it 100% width. Now let me kind of take that color just because we're trying to show you how easy it is to build exactly what you want. And let's go here to change the background color of this section. And we'll just give it this red. Boom. And then we'll say, give some text in here. And the text is not going to want to be black. That's a little too intense. So let's change our text to white. And we'll say, thank you. Let's centerline all this. Make this bold and bigger. Maybe a 2.6. What does he say here? Your call has been scheduled and we look forward to speaking with you. Oof, some line height issues here. Let's do this. Add some smaller text down below. Your call has been scheduled and we look forward to speaking with you. All right, and then I could probably remove some of this height here. Let's take a look at, to make things look exactly right, there's going to be some settings, some margin. For example, there's 20 pixels of padding here. I don't want that, so remove that. And it comes down a little bit. And here as well. All right, that looks pretty good so far. So we've got our first section. The next section is just going to be some simple text and a video. So we'll add another section. It'll be a white section. And again, let's just make this very simple, full width content. And let's add some text in there. So here we're going to say, please take a look at the training below to learn more about the, let's say, desired result that we can achieve together. And again, let's make this a little bit bigger, maybe 1.6. And centerline that guy. Looks pretty good. Now let's add the video in. Just go to video, and we can play with some shadows. Let's do the drop shadow. I like that. Oops. Drop shadow. Right there. Boom. Now here is one of the other reasons why I love doing everything in Kartra for these types of funnels is because you can easily add your videos directly in, which I did not add before this page. So we're going to build this out. We'll leave this as a placeholder, and then we'll go through and add the video in as well and show you how to set all that up. All right, so the final thing behind here is let's add some more text down below. And let's assume that this person, the person creating the funnel, has some additional work they want you to do, some additional homework. Once you've watched the training, be sure to print out and fill in the additional worksheets below. Let's make it about a 1.4. And then let's add some buttons down below. See how easy this is? And let's say here, maybe like this type of button. I like that button. This is when Kartra can sometimes get a little bit fun. There we go. Dragging and dropping can be exciting sometimes. All right, let's put this button over here. And let's make this the same red. Let's just for now, let's just say the word red. Close enough. And that'll save us some time as we're going through for you guys. Let's align this in the center. And let's make it giant. Cool. Change the text to download your prep sheet. Apply that. Icon looks good. Let's just change the icon color to red as well. Boom. And then the link, let's also send this to a specific file, to download a file. And we'll need to create a file as well, won't we? Okay, so this thank you page looks really good so far. I want to also add a global footer to this. So we have our privacy policy, our disclaimers, all that good stuff there. And here we'll use a built-in section. So I'm going to scroll here through my sections and I'm going to find the footers. So here's a footer, and let's just make a very simple footer here. I like this one here. You don't want them to be distracted from everything you're telling them up above, so we'll leave this footer here. And I would probably remove the social media icons right now, but you can do that if you'd like to. This footer is going to work for me. Let me simply change the color of all these, since we're just going to use red for this example. Boom, red. Do this one as well. Color, red. Boom. This one as well, privacy policy. You obviously want to send them to an actual privacy policy page. I'll let you guys do that on your own. Red. Okay. So now we have our footer. That looks pretty good, right? I'm happy with this page. Just for the sake of ease on my side, I'm just going to use red as my overall color scheme for this entire tutorial. That avoids for me having to go and find the right color scheme every time if I'm copying and pasting. So we'll publish this page live, and we'll add some videos in and the file as well. So we can take a look. Boom. There's your page. Beautiful, easy, built in a couple of minutes. No big deal. Now let's head back to our dashboard. And in the dashboard, we're going to bounce over really quick into the My Videos area. And I've actually created 2 videos for you. And I'll show you why I've created 2 sample videos for you. So on the funnel here, we're going to have this thank you video, which might be a training included. We also have a video earlier on in the process to kind of help them get through the assessment process. So I've created 2 example videos. I'll upload them here, and I'll also include them in the download if you choose to download this funnel after the video. So let's hop back over to My Videos area. And like everything else in Kartra, the bottom right gives you the ability to add new. And I'll upload multiple video files here. And let's create a new category of video. And we'll keep this consistent. We'll call this high ticket application funnel. And we'll add that. This allows you to very easily keep all your files together, even when your website grows really, really big. There we are. We'll upload our files. And I will find the 2 videos I just made. Boom. Select both of those. You can see I've already compressed them really nicely for you. And we'll hit next. It'll just take a second to optimize the video, compress everything, get it ready to go. And in just a moment, we'll be able to set up the settings for these videos. All right, and here we go. So we have our 2 videos here. We have the application page video and the thank you page video. So for this one, let's just take a look at our settings on the thank you page video. That's all fine. Now you can see our display settings that you can, whether it's an embedded or a pop-up, it's fixed or otherwise. If you want to have mute on start, probably not. Show controls, sure. Autoplay on load, depends on what you want to do it for. We'll leave this all pretty basic. What's cool about this, another little plug here for this tool, is you can add call to actions within the actual video. So you can say, and maybe this is kind of sneaky, so use this with caution. Let's say you're offering them a free training, a free video like this one. I could pause the video right now and pop up an opt-in form that says, hey, do you want the answer? Do you want to see everything happen? Put your name and email in to continue playing the video. Isn't that sneaky? You have other things like buttons where you can send them to a sales page, etc., etc. For this one, though, we're not going to need to do any of that. We can also tag our leads if they get to certain parts in the video. Let's do that for fun. So we'll just show that when the lead visits the video page or at a time through the video, boom. These are short videos, so I'll say at 15 seconds into it, we're going to create a tag and say watched, or let's say viewed 15 seconds, thank you, video. And this watched 15 seconds of application funnel, thank you, video. Just describing the tag to yourself. And this tag will also need its high ticket application funnel. So now we have a category for our tags, a category for our videos. We are all nice and organized. Cool. So now they'll get that tag if they actually watch the video. And then if at the end of the video, you could have them redirect to another page or whatever else you want them to do. So we'll publish this. And now we're ready to go. So let's head back to our pages here, and we'll go to the page we just built, and we'll go in and edit it. Before we do that, we also have a file, right, that we want them to download when they get to a certain place. So let's set that one up as well. We'll go to My Memberships. which is kind of a strange place to hide this button, but I get it. So under content, they have files. Now let's upload a file here. And we'll, again, create a category for our files. We'll call this high ticket application funnel. We'll add this category in. Boom. Now let's upload a sample file. It doesn't have to be anything in particular. Let's just see. I think I made a PDF recently. Well, you know what? This could be any file you want, obviously, but I recently did a review of a product, so I'll just add one of the images there, and that will be the file they download. Cool. Next, now it's going to upload that file, and we'll be good to go there. You know, while I'm here, I also want to just kind of be prepared, like every good funnel builder should be. I know I also need to get a case study uploaded as well. So I'll upload another file that I'll kind of use as my case study file. Okay. Let's go upload one more time. Let's put these under the high ticket application funnel. And let's see if I have any downloads that actually are PDFs. There we go. Here's an example PDF that I actually use as a freebie on my own site. So we'll call this example case study. Check. All right, so we have our files in place. We have our videos in place. Let's come back into this page and let's edit it and move on. All right, go to edit and rock and roll. Okay, so now that we're back on our page, we can go to this video, which is just a placeholder right now, and let's edit it and make it a real video. So we'll go to our videos and we'll say high ticket application funnel and the thank you page video. Now here we can also control our settings, so autoplay. Let's say yes on that one. We'll show the controls and we'll mute on start. Apply that just to show you what some of these settings do. And then we'll also go to download your prep sheet and let's link this to a file. And let's go to high ticket consulting and example case study. Let's use that file. It looks like I didn't add the category for both files. That was my mistake. So we'll apply this. Great. And now this page should be good to go. Let's just do a publish live, get the link, and you can adjust. I've set up one custom domain onto this Kartra account, so you can play with it like you want to and rename it as well. We'll call this thank you next steps. All right. Save the URL and let's go check it out. And what we should see is this video is going to play automatically. We can click to get sound on it. You can click to pause and play. And they also have the download your prep sheet button here. And boom, as soon as you click it, you download the sheet. Doesn't get much easier than that, huh? I'm a big fan. All right, so that was page one. I'm going to go ahead and get a big green check mark. Where's my check mark? Here's my check mark. And I'm going to put a check mark over here because there are multiple steps we're going through. I want to keep everything straight as we're going through. All right. So now we're going to move on to the calendar itself, and the calendar is going to take care of some of these actions as well. So let's build our calendar as the next step in the process. We'll come back here. We'll return to dashboard. Now let us create the calendar. But before we create the actual calendar, I want to make the form that's going to go in. And we're going to go and make some forms for this entire funnel, and I'll walk you through the thought process behind form creation here. So first, let's go ahead and click on plus, new form. And we're going to call this form calendar. Let's call it a high ticket calendar form. So while that's loading up, let me show you here. So forms are kind of different in Kartra because you can use them in a bunch of different places. They're not just for opt-ins. They can be for several different spots in the process. So for example, when they book time to talk with you, it's going to pop up a form that says, hey, name, email, phone number, whatever information you need on that step of the process. And you can ask for that there. So in this example, we're going to need name, email, and phone number in that step. On the previous step, you have this assessment process. That assessment is also a form they're filling out, but there'll be different information you're asking for that person at that step of the process. And then lastly, the first step, the actual case study, you want to have very few fields there because they're not going to want to give you their home address just to get a PDF downloaded to them. So what's beautiful about Kartra is these three different forms on these three different steps of the process can ask for different information. But when there's overlap in information, let's say name and email would be included on every single one of these, it will automatically fill in all the information it knows about that person. So it makes that premium experience that we're going after. Okay. So let's just build these 3 forms out that we're going to need. This form here is going to be for the calendar. So on a calendar, we want name, email, and let's add a new field. And let's add phone number without country code. Boom. Text input. Let's call this best phone number. Mandatory. And the default country code, let's make it United States. And save. Cool. So there we have our fields we need. For the calendar, that's all I really want there because they've already booked their time early. We don't need to ask them what time to call them. Confirmation. Single opt-in or double opt-in. Let's go with single opt-in. Won't talk about all the reasons why, but let's just go with that. Here is the success page. So this is why I told you that we're going to build from start to finish, or we're going to build from finish to start, because now we've already created the success page that we need, which is the Kartra page. We're going to select the site. It's going to be high ticket coaching, and it's going to be the thank you and training page. So when they submit the calendar, this is what we want to have happen. Go to next. We could send them a welcome message, but Kartra already has some pre-configured notifications, so we don't need a welcome message here. Automations, yeah. So when they submit, yes, assign tags. Here, we're going to go to, I think we need to make a new tag here. So like I told you, what we're going to do here is when they book, we all want to say they've scheduled their meeting, we've scheduled their time with you. So let's create that. So we'll just call this scheduled consult. Calendar meeting set. And this is going to be under the high ticket application funnel. Create. Cool. All right. So now they're tagged. We could put them onto different lists. I prefer to use tags for everything. It's really personal preference. You could create a list here. Let's do it just for, because I know there's different strokes for different folks. So we'll call this list as calendar bookings. You signed up for a free consult. All right. So now they're part of a list. The sequence we will handle using the tag itself to set up the sequence, so no worries there. And then we don't need advanced automations at this point. Okay, where are you planning to display this form? In another Kartra asset. Exactly. So you don't need to do any designing. That's easy. Now finish. Cool. So we built that form out. Now let's go ahead and build the calendar where the form belongs. So we have the stuff that goes into this. Now let's just build the calendar out itself. So Kartra builds in its own calendar booking system. It's not as powerful as some of the others that are out there, but in other ways, it has really unique features. Like you can set up different types of appointments. You don't have to just be one-on-one. It could be group classes. It could be recurring classes, etc. Let's walk through and show you some of these options. So like I said, there's a consulting model, which is what we're going to use here. It's the kind of most standard. Here's a time, book a time. It books me, it books you. You're good to go. Recurring class is, hey, I want to book for 7 different weeks, and I want to do the Friday class at 6 p.m. The gym model, where there's different offers, different timelines, and then a live event, which is very different. I actually haven't used this one yet, which I'm excited to one day. If you have a live event, you want some help with your funnel, give me a call. Anyways, we'll go to the consultant model here and create this calendar. We'll call this high ticket consulting strategy. Create it. All right. Now your logo, we're going to make a different logo for this project here. So let me do that real fast. So now I've moved over to my favorite quick and dirty graphic design program called Trello, and I'll call this high ticket. That's going to be the name of my brand here. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And let's find a little object here that looks like a coach. Just search for an icon for a coach, and that looks like a couch. All right, here we go. Here's a cool coach looking guy. So I'll make this guy my logo mascot. This is the ugliest thing I've ever created, but I'm going to go with it. Go with Nunito, high ticket, and make this maybe like a dark gray. It's a bit more professional. Let's do 32. All right. So that's going to be our logo here. So let's download this. Let's call it high ticket logo. All right, we'll download this as a transparent. So there will be links to Trello as well if you like how easy it is just to slap something together really easily for things like this. Be sure to check that one out. I like it a lot. All right, so we have our logo. So now let's pop back in to our wizard here where we're building out our calendar, and let's update that logo with what we just built. Boom. Great. Custom marquee. You can set things up here on, to help you get through the process of booking something. So these guys look like they're high ticket closers. So we're going to use this image. You can also upload your own, which I would recommend, but because these are very like stock photo-y, but we're going to go with it. And now for our little title here, we'll say, let's find the right time to talk. And we can also, that's really hard to read. So I'm going to increase the opacity. That's going to make it a little darker. So now you can very easily see the text very nicely. Time zone will let our, I love this feature. So normally, most booking systems, it just puts you in one time zone, like whatever time zone the consultant is in, and they're sitting there guessing what time zone it is. So here, we're going to have them automatically, very right in front of you, say, hey, choose your time zone, and then I'll do all the math for you, so you don't have to worry about it. All right, so we'll just make sure we've saved everything. We'll go to next. All right, so it's just going to give you a little bit of heads up about the scheduling process. So we'll say, yes, we understand. Our preferred time is, here we go. Let's set all this up here. So we'll call this discovery strategy call. Class description, we'll say 40, a no risk 40-minute deep dive into your business and path forward. Something like that. Under the trainer or coach, you just pick whichever, this is probably only going to be you on the account, but if you have multiple people in your Kartra account, you can pick which person is going to link up to. So there you go. And that's going to link up to their calendar as well. How you want them to start. Let's say they can start on the 15, not every 5 minutes. And then the session duration, we're going to say is 0 hours and 40 minutes. And buffer is if you want to have time in between your appointments. Let's just say we want a 5-minute buffer. You can set your hours, 9 to 5, availability, and that's all well and good. We'll also show you, just because you have this set up, you can still integrate your actual calendar so it only shows your actual availability. Number of sessions, they can only get 1 session. Booking notice, don't allow same-day bookings. It's just a hot mess when you do that. Been there. Block specific dates. If you're going on vacation, you can do that. And then whether it's free or payment, we're going to go with free for this example, but for hourly consulting, you can also do a paid fee where they pay for an hour of your time and then you rock and roll with it. All right. And because we're working backwards forwards, we already have this form created. So we have our high ticket calendar form is what we're going to link up here. And now we should be able to save this and go. All right, and the next step, because we're nicely prepared, we wanted to set up reminder emails for this calendar. And this is a built-in feature of Kartra where we can just say, yes, send me reminders, send communication automatically. And you can set up how you're sending it, who you're sending it from, and it'll also give you all the different options of how many emails you want to send. So the first one is a booking confirmation. As soon as they complete the process, yes, send them a confirmation, and you can change the text in here to say, congratulations, your calendar is booked. Here's all the details of what you just did. Depending on how you want to actually administer the meeting, if it's going to be you calling them on the phone, you're good to go here because you already captured their phone number. However, if you want to use like a Zoom or a Skype, here's where you'd put the link in for that. Unfortunately, right now, some platforms allow you to automatically create a unique Zoom meeting for every calendar. That feature is not here yet, but it is on the roadmap. But you can still use a persistent room, like a meeting room, and just send them there. Up to you and how you want to do it. For high ticket closing, what I've seen most people do, what seems most effective, is not even worry about that. Because what happens is people get flustered. They forget exactly what the link was or where the link was. They're going through, they're trying to find it. They click in, their microphone doesn't work, their webcam can't work, and you're spending the first 10 to 15 minutes of the call just trying to work through the tech. Just pick up the phone, give them a call. You already have the information you need. You're getting them reminder emails. That's just my personal advice. I'm the guy who wants to do the face-to-face. I want to be able to read their body language. But ultimately, it has not worked out as well because they're already in this like panicked state of mind and they're not ready to hear a sales pitch or to actually like work on what you're doing. So get off my high horse there. But that's some advice on your booking process. All right, so that's the booking message. And then email reminders, you can send a reminder 1 day advance, 1 hour before. So let's say we're going to set up a couple reminders. So the 1 hour before, and we'll call this, your meeting is coming up in 1 hour. And you can add your additional text here. I'll add a bit of personalized copy before I make this funnel available for you. But for the sake of brevity, we'll kind of skip over it right now. All right, so that's that reminder. Yes. We also, let's do one more reminder. So that's 1 hour before. Let's also do 1 day before. Cool. Your strategy session is coming up tomorrow. Cool. All right, so we got 2 reminder emails. That should be sufficient. Cancellation, whether you want to allow cancellations or not. Approval. Here's where, depending on your demographics of your team, like if you have a big sales team and you can kind of take on all these appointments, you can instantly approve them. But if you're a one-man show, maybe you want to do manual approval of the meetings. We're going to do that here because the benefit of this process is the assessment. It allows us to say, I don't want to talk to this person because they just didn't answer the questions right, whatever the case might be. If you're spending ads and you're getting a lot of people in, not everyone's going to be qualified. So manual session approval helps you because it keeps your time zones kind of more free and blocked in, which is nice. Customer support. You could create a help desk for this. At this stage in the process, I would not. So we're going to skip over that for now, and we'll rock and roll. Sync with your Google Calendar. I'll just show you this real quick. Yes, I've already set up an integration where my actual calendar, all my individual calendars, it can be checked with, and as soon as the meeting is made here, it'll show up on my Google Calendar and vice versa. It'll also check for any issues with our calendars when it's booking. So it makes it really, really easy to use. For this actual example, I'm not going to integrate I'm not going to sync it up, but that would be what I'd recommend you do. Assign tags. We've already taken care of this through the form itself, so we'll skip over that. Boom. And here's our calendar. You can also change that URL to anything you'd like, but this will work for me. All right, we're making really good progress through this funnel. Now we're going to just scroll over here and we need to give ourselves a nice green check. So at this point, we have taken care of this tag. We have taken care of these reminder emails. We have taken care of the calendar itself. And now we're here to this step here. So here we're going to have the assessment, the video, some instructions, and some additional tags and reminders. So what I'd recommend we start here is let's start with the form. I'm going to grab this link just in case. Now let's go over to our forms. And let's add one more form. We'll call this one High Ticket Assessment Form. Create it. All right, so here's kind of the beauty here. I'm going to get the name and email from the previous step, but I'm going to leave that here because it's just so cool. Like, I'm going to show you. It's fantastic. All right, so now let's create some additional fields. So this one, we don't really need their phone number yet because we don't know if they're approved yet and all this stuff. So we want to add information about their business. So let's add some fields or create a custom field, and we'll call this field Business Goals. And here we can do radio buttons, drop downs, checkboxes, etc. I'm going to go with radio buttons. What are your business goals? And we'll make it mandatory, and we'll give it a few options. Option 1 will be to grow. Option 2 will be to maintain. And option 3 will be to simplify. All right, so 3 good goals we could have here. We'll save it. Next question. We'll ask something very broad and open. So we'll say, what is your biggest struggle currently? We'll make this a text area box. Yes, it's mandatory. And we'll say, what is your biggest struggle currently? And I shouldn't have done this. So instead of, I got them mixed up. So the field identifier is like the variable name, like how do you want to recall this? So we'll call this the struggle, the business struggle. All right, so this is our next question there. And we can go on and on. Let's just show you one other type. Let's create another custom field. And we'll call this one income level because we want to see if they're currently making enough money to justify our costs. And we'll use a drop down here. So we'll call this one how much revenue are you producing monthly? Mandatory. And the field options will be less than 1,000. Add, we'll say 1,000 to 5,000. And then we'll say greater than 5,000. Cool. 3 good ones there. Boom. All right, so those are our questions. We can also readjust the order. So for example, I think the biggest struggle should go down there. So we'll do name, email, business goals, revenue, and biggest struggle. Great. We have our form. Confirmation, again, we'll do single opt-in. Now the success page, this is why I copied that URL earlier, because Kartra calendars are not pages, they're calendars. So here, we're going to just paste in our Kartra calendar. Make this HTTPS, rid of that. Save it. Next. Welcome message, we don't need to take care of that here, we'll do that later. Now tags, let's talk back our tags here. So we want to call these people applied. As soon as they submit this guy here, we want to assign a tag. And this is going to be a new tag. So we'll call this applied for consulting. Filled in application assessment. The category here is high ticket coaching or high ticket application, and create the tag. All right, so we're going to add that tag, and we'll skip over everything else here because we don't need anything too fancy for this one. And we'll save and next. The design, we're going to use this in another Kartra page, so we can skip over that. And now finish. We're done here. Great. So I'm going to go back to our little flowchart, and let's add another checkbox here. We haven't done the reminder emails, but now we can move on to the page itself and put in that video and some of that other content. You see, having this flowchart and being able to check it off as you go is important, for me as well, because I'm talking through this, I'm doing it as I'm talking, and it just makes it really easy. So let me show you a nice little pro tip. You can just clone an existing page. If a lot of the design is going to be the same, you just clone it. And we'll call this assessment page. High ticket, good. Clone. All right, so in this design here, we're going to have a little progress bar. I think that's a good idea. So let's go to components. And we scroll down, we'll see, move myself up there, we'll see a progress bar. And we can look at some of the different designs. Which one do I like here? Let's go with this guy. Put him up there. We'll edit it. So you can see the bar color. That color actually looks pretty good. And we'll say 50%, that's fine. The text will be step. Let's just remove it. Let's just remove that text entirely. It looks better. We can add some effects as well. If we wanted to zoom in, can we see the zoom? There we go. See how it zooms in? Don't need it. Apply. Okay, so we have our progress bar. We'll just say here, you're almost there. And we'll say simply fill out the assessment below to book your time with us. So now here's where we're going to probably just delete this section altogether because there's a lot of differences we need to do. So let me go ahead and just click over here and delete this white section, and we'll rebuild it. And we'll go into sections, and let's drop an empty section in here. And let's make this section a side-by-side. We'll do columns 50-50 and drop that in. All right, so now here we go. We're going to go ahead and just kind of replicate this design here. So we see the assessments on the left, the videos on the right. So let's go ahead and just do that. So we'll go to components and we'll add some text here and we'll add a video. And so let's just make this a simple video. And we can quickly select the video we want from the high ticket application funnel. We have our application page example. And let's not autoplay this one just to show you something different. And under this text, let's say So on this text, we're going to say, watch the video below to see exactly how we can help you. Let's bold that. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Let's do like a 1, maybe a 1.3, 1.4. There we go. I like that. Centerline that. Boom. Okay. And now on the left-hand side, we're going to find a form. Opt-in fields. Now we get to kind of get some general design here. I think the light makes more sense. We'll do light and small fields. So let's drag that in, and we can edit and select the form we just created. So high ticket assessment form is what we created. And we'll apply that there. And let's see how it looks. Okay, so there's our form. That's exactly how we want it to look. Let's add a little instruction in front of the form itself so they know exactly what they're expected to do. So we'll say here, let's add some components. Let's go to our text. And we'll say, please, let me get rid of this. Please complete the form below so we know exactly how to help you. And let's also bold this and let's make it red. Let's just type red. I want to make sure it's the same. And let's make it a little bit bigger. All right, cool. And let's add a little bit of text below it. This should only take a few minutes. Cool. Submit. I think I can also change the color of the button. So the button will say apply now. And let's change the color as well to, you guessed it, red. Cool. Doesn't that look good? I know it does. I know it does. All right. So that's this page here. Let's just take a brief look at it. Simple page. Let me look at our little model. Ooh, make sure your sound is turned on. I like that. Let's take that. So I'll come here, get some more text, and let's drag some text below, and just give them a little reminder. Make sure your sound is on. Cool. All right, so that's our next page. Let's publish this live. All right, here's our page link, and we should be able to go here and check it out. Looks pretty good. Now, what you've probably noticed already is that my name and email automatically filled in because Kartra kind of just works that way. So we'll walk through step by step once we're fully done building so you can see the true power of all this. But now here's our form. Our radio buttons work great. Our drop down works well. Our full thingy here is good. And then if I click apply now, I should also see it should take me directly to the calendar, which it does, which is just fantastic. Okay, so we're almost done with this funnel already. And I've already saved it, so we'll exit to the dashboard. Let's go ahead and work on our check marks. We just got to check here. So now the last thing we need to do is build out the opt-in page with a little click pop as well as the tags. So again, let's go and do the form first. And so let's create one final form. And this will be high ticket case study. All right. Form fields, name and email is perfectly fine at this stage. So hit save there. Confirmation, single opt-in is great. Success page. Again, this is why we work backwards, forwards. High ticket coaching. And we want to go to the assessment page next. Great. Welcome page or welcome message we'll skip. Let's assign a tag. And let's create a new tag. And what are we going to call this guy? Freebie download. So we'll call this case study download. Submitted form for case study. Okay. Under category, let's keep this all the same. High ticket application funnel. And boom. You can also create expiring tags. So maybe you only want to know that about the person for 5 days or so to make sure they flow through the process. So that option is there as well. Let's go subscribe this guy to a list. And we'll say that now he's going to be on a new list called prospects. Downloaded freebie. That's how we're going to identify these folks. Create it. Add. Save. Sequences and automations will skip. I may come back around. There is a really smart advanced automation I could do in this tutorial. We'll see how I feel. We'll see how time goes. It basically allows you to monitor the workflow of what stage in the process people are at. But for right now, let's go ahead and keep it simple. All right, so we've got the design done. Now let's rock and roll with our opt-in page. And in the same vein, let's go ahead and keep it simple, and we'll clone what we've already done. And we'll call this case study opt-in. Great, we'll clone it. It's in the same category already. So here we go. It's going to load everything up. And again, we're going to need to do some significant changes here. Let's get a brief look at our model, what we're going to work for here. Limited availability, now accepting new clients. All right, let's do it. Limited availability. This adds a lot of scarcity there. Now accepting more industry type clients. And let's make this a little bit bigger. Maybe 1.2. Good. And then they have this little invitation and a little button. So let's just, again, delete this. Be too much to remove it all individually. So let's give us another blank section. Oops. Give us a blank section here. Drag that in. And then under components, to achieve this look, I'm going to want to use a box. So I'm going to come down here for box. Let's just make a one column box. And this is really cool. I need to add the column first. My apologies. Always section first, column second, and then you can add the components. So add this in here. All right, so we have our column set up. Let's go ahead and make the dark color to kind of show some better contrast. We'll go to style, background color, just make it like a dark gray, like that. Ugh. Don't like it, but that's what they're doing. Maybe like there. Okay, cool. So there's our background color, and then finally let's add in that box. Okay, so here's the box, and the box is also going to be red. Component view, edit the style of the box, and they also have a border radius. So let's do maybe like a 10 pixel border radius. Boom. We'll add some text inside the box. Right there. Oof, hard on the eyes. Let's change that first. Make this white. We'll say invitation. Want us to make a big promise. Here. Make a big promise here. All right. So want us to help you achieve your goals or do the different things that you're trying to do and market to them here. And let's format this a little bit. Let's make everything in the center. Let's make invitation nice and big. Maybe 2.3. And let's make this one like a 1.8. All right, there's your invitation. One other cool thing is I can adjust the width of the columns nice and easily. I feel like this is a little bit too wide personally. So I'm going to edit the column width and just drag this guy right there and drag this guy to match. Hey, there you go. That looks a little bit better to me. Now let's add some more text below this and tell them, oof, let's make this white as well. Just going after our model here, they're going to kind of let you know they're going to get a case study first. So we'll come here and we'll say, before you apply, click below to see a free case study. Make that white and make it a little bit bigger, maybe 1.4. Boom, looks great. And now let's put a button down below where they can get their thing. So go to button here and let's go with this one here. Under style here, let's make this full width and maybe like a nice, something that stands out nicely. I think that looks good. Now we'll come here and we'll say, get my case study. Perfect. And then the link here, so this is really easy in Kartra to do. I can easily make this pop its own content box or pop an opt-in form. Boom, just like that. And then it'll give me all these different styles of opt-in forms that might be nice. So I'm just browsing to see if something kind of tickles my fancy, and I think this is going to do it for me. So here we go. I'll drag this guy in, and I like because it already has the progress bar up top. I'm going to change the style of it, but I'm going to go with it. All right, so we're going to change this headline and say start your application and tell us where to send your case study. And I'll just show you can change individual bits of text as you're going through. Like that, looks good. Remove some of that unnecessary stuff. Let's say step 1 of 2. Nice. And then under the form, edit the form. And we should have this form already made. This is the case study form. I'll apply it. Perfect. And now under the button, let's go ahead and keep on our ridiculous branding here with red. All right, boom. And then the text color needs to be white. And the text here should not be sign me up. It should be get the case study. Apply that. And we can also add like an icon and things like that to it, but we'll skip over some of that unnecessary stuff here. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and just review this. I'm not a fan of that green. I thought I would be, I'm not. I'm gonna grab that blue color from the pop-up that we made earlier, and let's just make that color the same there. At least there's some consistency here. All right, I like it. You might add some additional spacing and things like that. If I want to add some spacing between here, I would click on the button, edit it, and give it some top margin. So let's say 30 pixels of top margin. And that just moves it down a little bit, which looks good. All right, let's publish this page live. And let's take a look at how it kind of shows on the front end. Boom, limited availability. We are accepting more of this. Want us to make a big promise. Get the case study. There you go. All right, before we run through a full test, let's go back into our little diagram and track our progress, see what we've built so far. So we made the landing page, we've made the pop-up, we've added the tags for the freebies. So it looks like everything is done except for the reminder emails, and I can cover that after we run through the front end, kind of the test. So let me open this up in an incognito window, like this. And the benefit of doing it in incognito is you'll see what somebody who has never found your brand before, you're going to see what they would see. So here we go. So they see this page here. They click on Get My Case Study, and nothing is filled in, right? Their first name, their email. It doesn't know who you are yet because this is a brand new visit. So we'll call this Hi Ticket. We'll call it hi@ticket.com is their email address, and we'll say Get the Case Study. Takes you to step 2 of the process. Has our video that plays nicely here on the side. It also, the reason why I made that kind of silly name was pay attention to the form now. Automatically, the form pulled in the name, it pulled in the email from the previous step. This starts to give you that premium feel like I talked about in the beginning of the video, where if you're trying to sell a high ticket, you can't ask people to do the same work over and over again. Put your name and email in this system and then go to that system, put the same information in. You don't want that. It obviously makes you look a little bit less professional. So Kartra does a great job at making everything look like it fits, it belongs, and the data just passes through from page to page. Okay, so business goals, let's go ahead and say grow. How much revenue you're producing, let's say we're between there, and your biggest struggle. Let's not fill that out and let's try to apply. Okay, so it won't let us, and it highlights the spot that we need to fill in. So we'll say, I can't get beyond a certain struggle. Okay, apply now. Great, and then it's going to pop up with that time zone selector, which we asked for it to do. It's just going to ask you to confirm your time zone. Yep, Eastern is fine for me. It'll pull up availability. Right now, this is not linked to a Google Calendar, so this guy looks wide open with his availability. But you can see this very easy scheduling window where they can pick their right time. They can go from week to week. And let's say February 28th at 12 o'clock. Boom. They can book it right there, hit the checkbox, and it'll pop up the form, finally the form, and pay attention here. So look what happened. It pulled in the name and the email, and it also added one more field, your best phone number. So instead of, again, having to ask for the same information multiple times, it's just doing what it needs to do. It's only asking for new information for them to fill in. So let's go ahead and put in a phone number. 3333. Okay, so it looks like you can do a fake phone number, but that's okay. I mean, nobody's perfect, right? All right, and then you submit it, and it takes you to this thank you page, which has the video that I put together. Auto plays, sound is off. You can click there to bring the sound on, and everything seems to work really, really well. It also gives you the prep sheet here, so you can click here, and it'll download the prep sheet also. So we have a fully working funnel from the pages side. There's one final thing that we should do, which is to set up all of our emails to work properly. So let me go ahead and just publish this one last time to make sure that we're good to go. And I'll return to my dashboard. And let's take a look at what our goals are here from an email perspective. So what we could do is set up different sequences, one for when they download the freebie and one for when they apply for the calendar. These are just nudging emails to make sure they get it through the next step of the process. So what I'm going to do is I'll create one simple sequence, which is going to be a reminder email from the case study to get them back into the assessment. So to do that, I'll head over to Communications, and I'll head over to the Sequences area. And let's create a simple little sequence, and we'll call this Reminder to Book sequence. And we'll say, be sure to set up your strategy call. All right, we'll create this guy. It'll load up the sequence builder. And the starting rule here, how do you want the sequence to be triggered? Well, because we set up those tags intelligently, I'm going to use a tag. And I'll say under the high ticket application funnel, I want to use the tag that they downloaded the case study, because that was the thing that happened just before they got here. Okay, so they downloaded the case study. Now we'll hit save. Now let's send them an email immediately to give them the thing they asked for. So right after the previous step, we're going to add a new email. Any time of the day is acceptable. And we'll call this, here is your case study. Kartra mail, sends from whatever email address you're using. And under send if, anyone reaching this step. No need to filter out people. All right, next. We'll send a single email. You can also do A/B split testing at the email level, which is pretty sexy. And then under subject, we'll say your case study, how to achieve X in Y time, every time. And we'll say, you can use these dynamic variables. So for example, I'm going to grab this and say, hello, first name. Again, you're high ticket, so you want to be personal in everything you do. Thanks so much for applying and checking out my case study. Download below and let me know what you think. All right, well, I'll just say download now. And now I just need to grab the link to that case study, which I don't have on a clipboard, so let me head back in and get that link real fast. We'll go to my memberships, files, example case study, and let's use this one here because I forgot to make the categories nice. So we'll say step 1 download. All right, we've named it, given it a good category. Now we just get the link. That's a direct link to the file. So we head back to our email and then add the link into this button. There you go. Talk soon. Cool. Now, under automation, you can set up things like if they don't open the email within a day, you send it again, all this sort of stuff, but we don't need that. We'll create this email, link it up, and we can make it active. What I'd recommend you also do, which I can do after the video, but I won't go through all the rigmarole of setting up more and more emails, is include several more reminders to push them to the next step. So the next step in the process here is to actually get them to complete the assessment and book their time. So what we're going to do is set up one little catch-all where as soon as they get the tag that they scheduled their meeting, we're going to continue to remind them. I'll show you how to set that up now. Let's just add one email here so you get the idea of how it's going to look. And we'll wait 1 day between emails. And we'll just roll through this. Push to apply. All good. That's all good. We'll send this to anyone reaching this step. And you can do other tests here. A single email. The email content is remember to book your meeting. Space is limited. Click here to book your time. Obviously, you'd want to do a little bit better than that, but that will work. Let's send this to a link to our Kartra page. Let's grab this assessment page is where we want to send them. Get that link, put that in here. Great. All right. So now this is an example, and you can keep this rolling on for a few more times. Eventually, we're going to want to kick them out of the sequence as soon as we have confirmation that they have sent in, that they've applied for their meeting. So how do we do that? There's a couple ways that you can do it. You can use the global automations feature, or you can go into the actual setup process of the step that initiates the automation. So let me do the second version since that sounds really complicated and it's really not. So here we go. Under my calendars, I'm going to come to this one and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to skip all the way over here to the automations tab. So skip, 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 skip. All right. Automations. So here we go. So when this happens, so let's go ahead and make an advanced automation. And we'll say when lead registers to calendar, complete subscription, cancels. All right. So when they register to a calendar, this calendar, any class, or yeah, any class is fine. Then we want to unsubscribe them from the sequence. And I love that you can do this so easily here. So unsubscribe from a sequence. We have our hide ticket here, our reminder to book sequence. So as soon as they do the action we want, which is to apply to the calendar, we want to remove them from the sequence that tries to get them to apply to the calendar. Isn't that kind of logical? So we'll add that rule in there and we'll hit save. And so now you have like free reign to make that reminder sequence as long and as treacherous as possible, because as soon as they finally do the action you want, you're going to stop that and you're going to move on to the next kind of push in the process. Cool. So last thing we want to do, let's just run through it one more time. And then I think we'll be done here. Before we actually run through it, I want to show you as well that now when you're here in your dashboard, as soon as you get a booking, that right now we're approving all of our bookings manually. Let me show you how cool this looks. So I'll click here and I can see a registration list. And I'll click here. And now you can see the list of everybody who has applied, and you can either approve the meeting or decline the meeting respectfully. And what's awesome is, like I said earlier, because this is all in one system, all I have to do to get all the context and details about this person is click on their name. And now everything that I've done throughout the entire process is captured here in the contact log. So what that means is I can see their business goals, I can see their struggles, I can see their income level directly here from their profile. I can also see all the actions they've taken based on the tags that I've assigned to them. I can, over time, set up a scoring system where if they watch 5 of my videos and they get a better score, if they bought from me before, I can see all their customer value. I can see what lists they belong to. I can see every email I've sent, which I set the emails up after, so that's blank right now. I can also see, their request here. And here's the crazy part. I can also, kind of like for the most ridiculous part of it all, I can see every single thing they've ever done within my funnel. I can see every page they visited, every tag they've had assigned, and when, et cetera, et cetera. If they have any issues down the road and they submit help desk tickets, I can see all the tickets, so I have a full view of this person when I decide if I want to approve the meeting or not. So here, boom, approve, and we have our meeting set up. So let me run through one last test. I'm not going to do the entire funnel since we just did that, but I want to show you the email arriving as soon after the setup as possible. So let's go here to get the page link, and I'll just go to this in a new tab here, and let me fill out this form one more time, and we'll call this free case study at gmail.com. All right, you're almost there. I'm going to fill this one out as well. Boom, autofills that. Let's say my goal is to maintain. There's also some really cool things we can do with these buttons where based on what they answer, you can set up your own automations. Leave a comment below if you want to see me show you how to do that in the next tutorial. pick your revenue target and goal. Apply now. Right there to the strategy call. Let's book this here. And it fills out nicely. And the thank you page. With the download button, everything ready to go. So now let me just double check that the email arrived. Always a good thing to look for, right? And on my administrative side, I can see that this request was already made. That this pending was here, so you can click here to approve or reject the meetings. I can also see on the site I used that my booking is under review. So that was from the calendar. It's pending review. I can also see this is the email that gives me access to the case study. So I can click here and boom, download the PDF or whatever you're offering there. So that's a fully functioning, high performance, high ticket consulting funnel set up that in about an hour, and I'm going kind of slow because I'm explaining it all as we're going. We can integrate our calendar. We can integrate our opt-in forms, our video marketing, our video hosting. We can do split tests if we wanted to on any of these pages. And it's all done in a single login and on a single platform. And it's for a certain type of person. If you're the person who wants to have a ton of blog posts and have all this crazy functionality and you have the patience or the budget to spend on tech guys to get it all to work, using WordPress and other solutions can also be effective for you. But if your ultimate goal is to get your marketing message out there and get people into your funnel, into your process, so they can know, like, and trust you, and you can get them on the phone to close them on your coaching, consulting, high ticket membership, whatever the case might be, Kartra is a pretty powerful solution. I'm not like blowing smoke up anybody. Like, I'm just going through and showing you step by step how this works. And when I deal with a certain type of client, a client who wants the result and not all the techie work that goes into it, Kartra is a hard solution to beat right now. If you have any interest in using this funnel for your own purposes, there should be a link down below that gives you more information on how to do that. If you like this as well and want me to break down another funnel, do a funnel hack with somebody else, please leave a comment as well with which one you think is interesting and which one I should tackle next. I'm John from IncomeMesh.com. My goal is to help you find the perfect tool for your next project. I hope I helped you do that in this video. If you want to support the channel, be sure to sign up for Kartra down below. I also have a ton of bonuses that goes along if you decide to use my affiliate link. So click on the link to learn more about that program as well. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.